In this chapter, we come to the heart of the journey, where all the lessons, all the reflections, and all the practices we have explored so far converge into one clear picture, the kaka, or framework, of the entire book. The title of this work is 10 Habits That Attract Opportunity Without Any Headings, and in this final part, we pull together every essential thread to see not only what these habits are, but why they matter, and how they shape a life that becomes magnetic to growth, progress, and endless new possibilities. Chapter 1. From the very beginning of life, it becomes evident that the opportunities we often hope for, dream about, or wish would magically appear, are rarely the product of luck alone. Rather, they are the natural outcome of the habits we cultivate, the energy we radiate, and the mindset we consciously choose to embrace each day. And understanding this truth is the first step toward building a life where doors open more easily, chances present themselves without warning, and growth becomes inevitable. Awareness is the cornerstone of this entire journey, because nothing in life can be seen, understood, or acted upon if it is not first noticed, and awareness goes far beyond simply being awake. It is an active, deliberate state of attentiveness to yourself, to your environment, and to the patterns that shape both your internal and external world. When you practice awareness, you begin to observe the subtle signals that often precede opportunity, whether it is recognizing the right moment to speak up in a conversation, noticing a chance to assist someone in a way that builds trust and connection, or understanding the nuances of timing in personal and professional interactions, because opportunities rarely announce themselves with fanfare. They are subtle, quiet, and often hidden behind what others might consider ordinary or unremarkable moments, and only those who are truly paying attention will perceive them. Awareness also involves understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, values, and because knowing who you are and what you stand for allows you to align your actions with the type of opportunities that will serve you best, and it prevents you from being distracted by chances that appear attractive on the surface but do not support your long-term vision. Developing awareness requires discipline, practice, and reflection. It is not something that happens overnight, and it is often strengthened through habits such as journaling, mindful observation, and deliberate questioning of your assumptions, because by pausing to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and surroundings, you start to recognize patterns and connections that might otherwise remain invisible. Awareness is also a form of sensitivity to the people around you, understanding their needs, desires, and perspectives, because opportunities frequently involve collaboration, partnership, or timing in human interactions, and those who are attuned to others' intentions and emotions can position themselves to respond effectively, adding value in ways that naturally attract reciprocity and support. Beyond observation, awareness encourages you to notice the gaps in your skills, knowledge, and mindset, motivating you to take proactive steps to grow, learn, and improve, because opportunity favors the prepared mind, and the more you understand what is missing or what can be strengthened within yourself, the more you can cultivate readiness for moments that others might miss. In cultivating awareness, you also become more resilient to distractions, negativity, and the noise that often diverts attention from what truly matters, because those who are deeply aware can prioritize effectively, focus on meaningful action, and avoid being swayed by superficial temptations or transient trends, and this focus further attracts opportunities that require consistency, commitment, and clear purpose. Awareness shapes perception, and perception shapes reality. By training your mind to see possibilities, recognize timing, and identify patterns of growth, you literally change the way the world presents itself to you, because life responds to the lens through which you view it, and a person who cultivates awareness begins to notice not only more opportunities, but also the subtle cues that indicate which ones are worth pursuing and which ones might lead to dead ends or wasted energy. As awareness grows, It naturally fuels confidence, because when you know yourself and your environment intimately, you are able to act decisively and with clarity, rather than hesitating or doubting every step, and confidence, in turn, attracts attention, trust, and support from others, opening doors that might have remained closed to those who approach life with uncertainty or passivity. Ultimately, awareness is not just a skill or habit, it is a lifestyle, a lens through which life becomes intelligible, navigable, and full of possibility, and it lays the foundation for all the other habits that follow, because without awareness, no amount of discipline, courage, or generosity can be fully directed toward meaningful outcomes, and without it, opportunities will pass by unnoticed, lost in the noise of a life lived unconsciously. By committing to the practice of awareness, you create the conditions for opportunity to be seen, recognized, and acted upon consistently, and you develop the ability to respond with intention, presence, and clarity, transforming not only the way you interact with the world, but also the way the world interacts with you, because life invariably mirrors the habits you cultivate, and when awareness becomes your default mode, you become magnetically attuned to the possibilities that exist all around you, ready to step forward, seize the moment, and shape a future that is aligned with your highest potential. Chapter 2: Consistency is the invisible engine that drives all lasting success, the quiet rhythm that transforms ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes, and the habit that separates those who merely dream from those who achieve, because opportunity does not favor the sporadic, the unreliable, or the half-hearted. It favors those who show up day after day with dedication, focus, and a commitment to the process, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant each action may appear at the moment. And it is through this repeated, disciplined engagement that momentum is built, trust is earned, and doors that once seemed closed begin to open almost naturally, revealing possibilities that were previously out of reach. When you embrace consistency, you create a foundation upon which all other habits can thrive, because awareness, adaptability, integrity, generosity, curiosity, discipline, patience, courage, gratitude, observation, connection, action, and reflection all rely on a steady framework of repeated effort to reach their full potential, and without consistency, even the best ideas, the clearest insights, and the strongest intentions will remain scattered, unfocused, and ultimately unfulfilled. Consistency is not about perfection, it is about persistence, showing up even when motivation wanes, when energy is low, or when external circumstances seem challenging or discouraging, because those who act only when they feel inspired or confident will never create the sustained impact necessary to attract significant opportunities. And it is precisely this unwavering commitment to follow through that builds credibility, reputation, and the subtle influence that draws others toward you, trusting that when they engage with you, they are engaging with someone reliable, capable, and steadfast. It is through this repeated action that expertise is developed, mastery emerges, and the path to opportunity becomes clear, because no one becomes exceptional overnight, and the compound effect of consistent effort ensures that the skills, relationships, and knowledge you cultivate today will grow exponentially over time, providing you with resources, insight, and capabilities that others who rely solely on bursts of enthusiasm or sporadic effort will never attain. Consistency also strengthens resilience, because it teaches you to persevere through setbacks, obstacles, and failures, understanding that progress is rarely linear, and that the journey toward opportunity requires patience, adaptation, and ongoing effort. Those who cultivate consistency learn to see challenges not as permanent barriers, but as temporary conditions to navigate while maintaining momentum toward their long-term objectives. Furthermore, consistency builds discipline, creating a structure that makes it easier to prioritize meaningful action, resist distractions, and focus on what truly matters, and it fosters accountability both to yourself and to those who depend on your presence, support, or contribution, reinforcing a cycle of reliability that magnifies trust, respect, and influence. When combined with awareness, consistency allows you to identify opportunities more clearly, because regular engagement with your craft, your network, or your goals gives you the perspective and context needed to recognize when a chance aligns with your purpose, and when it does not, ensuring that your energy is invested wisely and effectively. Additionally, consistency cultivates confidence, because repeated practice and visible progress reinforce the belief that you are capable, prepared, and worthy of taking the next step, and confidence itself becomes magnetic, drawing attention, collaboration, and opportunities toward you with a natural, effortless force. Those who practice consistency develop a reputation for reliability and excellence, which attracts mentors, partners, and decision-makers who prefer to invest in individuals they know will follow through, meet deadlines, and honor commitments, creating a network of support and access that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Beyond professional or external opportunities, consistency also strengthens personal growth, reinforcing habits of self-reflection, learning, and intentional action, because each day of steady effort compounds, shaping character, resilience, and clarity of purpose, which in turn shapes the types of opportunities that appear and your ability to seize them effectively. It is important to remember that consistency does not mean rigidity or blind repetition. It means showing up with deliberate intention, adapting when necessary, and maintaining effort toward meaningful goals, because the combination of steadfastness and flexibility ensures that momentum is preserved while growth continues. Over time, consistent action transforms not only your capabilities, but also the environment around you, as those in your sphere begin to recognize your reliability, dedication, and persistence, creating a gravitational pull toward opportunities, collaboration, and influence that multiplies over time, making it increasingly easier to attract the possibilities you seek. Ultimately, consistency is the quiet, unglamorous, yet immensely powerful habit that forms the backbone of all achievement, turning potential into reality, dreams into results, and effort into opportunity, because life naturally responds to those who show up repeatedly, intentionally, and with unwavering commitment, and those who embrace consistency as a way of living position themselves to recognize, attract, and fully leverage every opportunity that comes their way, not by chance, but by the cumulative force of steady, disciplined action that signals readiness, reliability, and the persistent pursuit of excellence in all aspects of life. Chapter 3: Adaptability is one of the most critical yet often overlooked habits that attract opportunity. Because life is never static, circumstances change constantly, and those who cling rigidly to a single path, plan, or expectation often find themselves frustrated, stagnant, or left behind, while those who cultivate the ability to bend without breaking, to adjust without losing their purpose, and to respond intelligently to change, are the ones who consistently discover new possibilities, unexpected solutions, and unforeseen chances to grow and succeed. And this skill is not merely about survival, but about thriving in a dynamic world where opportunity favors the flexible, the observant, and the resilient, because the unexpected is an inherent part of life, and every moment presents choices that require awareness, courage, and a willingness to recalibrate. And the more adaptable you become, the more naturally you flow with these changes instead of resisting them, turning potential obstacles into stepping stones and challenges into gateways. Adaptability requires a mindset that sees change not as a threat, but as an opportunity to learn, improve, and innovate, because rigid thinking limits your capacity to recognize new directions, while flexible thinking allows you to embrace uncertainty, experiment with different approaches, and pivot when necessary without losing sight of your long-term goals. And it is precisely this openness that attracts opportunities that others may overlook or dismiss, because when you are adaptable, you are visible to possibilities that require insight, timing, and the ability to navigate complexity, which are qualities highly valued in every field and relationship. Developing adaptability begins with self-awareness, understanding your tendencies, strengths, and areas where you resist change, because by identifying patterns of rigidity or fear, you can take conscious steps to expand your comfort zone, experiment with different strategies, and practice responding to new situations with confidence, patience, and creativity. And these small, intentional exercises build the mental flexibility required to recognize opportunities as they emerge, rather than being caught unprepared or overwhelmed by them. Adaptability also demands emotional intelligence, because responding effectively to change often involves understanding the perspectives, expectations, and emotions of those around you, and being able to communicate, collaborate, and negotiate in ways that maintain relationships while moving forward. And this skill is invaluable, as opportunities often involve other people, and your capacity to adapt socially, professionally, and emotionally directly impacts your ability to access and leverage them. Beyond mindset and emotional intelligence, adaptability is cultivated through continuous learning, curiosity, and experimentation, because those who seek new knowledge, explore novel ideas, and embrace challenges are better equipped to adjust to shifts in environment, technology, trends, and circumstances, and this habit creates a self-reinforcing cycle. The more you learn, the more options you perceive, and the more flexible you become, the easier it is to recognize and seize emerging opportunities. In addition, adaptability strengthens resilience, because when you can adjust to changing conditions without panic or frustration, you maintain momentum, sustain motivation, and continue to take deliberate steps toward your goals, even when plans are disrupted or outcomes are uncertain. And resilience itself attracts further opportunities, as those who persevere under pressure are seen as reliable, capable, and ready for greater responsibilities and challenges. Adaptability also intersects with innovation and problem-solving, because flexible individuals are not constrained by rigid expectations or conventional solutions, and they can combine existing resources in new ways, identify hidden possibilities, and create value in circumstances that others perceive as limiting or stagnant. And this creative capacity draws attention, collaboration, and opportunity, as organizations, leaders, and partners naturally gravitate toward people who can navigate complexity and produce results under shifting conditions. Importantly, adaptability requires a balance between flexibility and clarity of purpose, because while it is essential to adjust strategies, approaches, and actions, it is equally critical to maintain a clear understanding of your goals, values, and priorities, so that every adaptation aligns with your long-term vision rather than simply reacting aimlessly to external pressures. And this clarity ensures that opportunities you pursue contribute meaningfully to your growth, rather than distracting or derailing you. Those who master adaptability cultivate a calm, confident presence, because they know that no matter what changes occur, they possess the tools, mindset, and perspective to respond effectively, and this confidence itself is magnetic, drawing mentors, collaborators, and opportunities toward them, because people naturally trust those who can handle uncertainty, navigate challenges, and pivot strategically without losing composure or direction. Ultimately, adaptability is not merely a skill but a lifestyle, a conscious choice to engage with life dynamically, to embrace change as a teacher, and to see every shift as a chance to discover something new, improve, and grow. And by making adaptability a core habit, you position yourself to consistently recognize, attract, and leverage opportunities in ways that the rigid, the resistant, and the unprepared cannot, creating a life where challenges become invitations, change becomes a catalyst, and opportunity flows naturally to those who are ready, aware, and willing to move with the current of life rather than against it, because in a world defined by constant motion, the adaptable become the ones who rise, thrive, and create the extraordinary from the ordinary. Chapter 4: Integrity is one of the most powerful yet understated habits that attract opportunity, because while skills, talent, and knowledge can open doors temporarily, it is the consistency of character, the alignment of actions with values, and the reliability of moral compass that ensures opportunities not only appear, but are sustained and multiplied. And this quality is what allows others to trust you, to believe in your promises, and to invite you into situations that require responsibility, influence, and discretion, because in a world filled with uncertainty and variability, people naturally gravitate toward those whose words match their actions, whose decisions reflect honesty, and whose behavior is guided by principles rather than convenience. And in cultivating integrity, you are essentially creating a reputation that precedes you, a silent signal to the world that you are someone who can be counted on, whose involvement will add stability, fairness, and reliability to any endeavor. Integrity is more than merely avoiding deception or dishonesty. It is an active commitment to transparency, fairness, and ethical action in every interaction, decision, and challenge. Because the choices you make when no one is watching ultimately shape the trust others place in you when your presence matters most. And this trust is a direct gateway to opportunity, as people prefer to collaborate with those whose character is proven and whose intentions are clear, reducing friction, increasing efficiency, and creating a fertile environment for growth and achievement. Developing integrity begins with self-awareness and self-reflection, because recognizing your values, understanding what matters most to you, and honestly assessing where you may be tempted to compromise allows you to make conscious, deliberate choices that reinforce your character rather than erode it. And by consistently evaluating your decisions against this internal standard, you gradually build an unshakable foundation of credibility that others can rely upon in both personal and professional contexts. Integrity also requires courage, because standing by your principles is not always easy. It often involves making difficult decisions, resisting pressure, admitting mistakes, and speaking the truth even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. And yet it is precisely this willingness to uphold ethical standards that distinguishes those who attract genuine opportunity from those who are respected only superficially or for fleeting achievements. Furthermore, integrity fosters consistency and reliability, because when you align your actions with your principles, you create patterns of behavior that others can predict and trust, which makes collaboration smoother, negotiations more straightforward, and relationships stronger. And these qualities naturally attract mentors, partners, and decision-makers who are willing to invest their time, resources, and trust in you, knowing that their confidence is well placed. In addition, integrity builds self-respect and inner confidence, because when your choices reflect your values, you no longer need to rely on external validation to feel secure or justified, and this self-assuredness communicates itself to the world, making you a magnet for opportunities that require leadership, influence, and ethical judgment, as people instinctively recognize and respond to those who act with authenticity and moral clarity. The habit of integrity also intersects with long-term vision and sustainability, because decisions made with honesty and principle may not always yield immediate rewards, but they establish trustworthiness and dependability that compounds over time, ensuring that opportunities grow in both quality and quantity, and that the network of relationships supporting your growth is built on solid, lasting foundations rather than fleeting advantage or manipulation. Integrity encourages accountability, because by taking full responsibility for your actions, admitting errors when they occur, and committing to rectify mistakes, you demonstrate maturity, reliability, and commitment to high standards, all of which signal to the world that you are prepared for challenges that require not just competence, but character, foresight, and ethical judgment. And these qualities are highly sought after in leadership, partnerships, and high-stakes endeavors. Moreover, integrity strengthens your influence and credibility, because those who act with principle naturally inspire trust, respect, and loyalty in others, creating a network of relationships that opens doors to opportunities that cannot be purchased, coerced, or forced, but are extended willingly by those who recognize and value your ethical consistency. Ultimately, integrity is not a one-time act but a lifelong practice, a daily choice to align thought, word, and action in accordance with your deepest values, and by embedding this habit into your character, you position yourself to attract opportunities that are not only abundant but meaningful, sustainable, and aligned with your long-term vision. Because in every decision, every interaction, and every challenge, integrity signals to the world that you are someone who can be trusted, relied upon, and invited to participate in ventures that demand not only skill but character, presence, and ethical leadership. And this silent yet powerful magnet draws opportunities toward you continuously, creating a life in which doors open naturally, relationships flourish, and success becomes not only achievable but also principled, sustainable, and deeply fulfilling. Chapter 5: Generosity is one of the most overlooked yet profoundly influential habits that attract opportunity, because it extends far beyond simple acts of giving and becomes a lifestyle, a mindset, and a practice that signals abundance, empathy, and value to the world. And when cultivated consistently, it creates a ripple effect that draws people, resources, and chances toward you in ways that transactional thinking or self-interest alone cannot achieve. Because generosity is magnetic, and human nature naturally responds to those who lift others up, share knowledge freely, offer support without expectation, and contribute meaningfully to the success and well-being of those around them, creating an environment where collaboration, trust, and reciprocal opportunity flourish. Generosity is not limited to material gifts. It is the giving of time, attention, wisdom, encouragement, and energy, because often the most valuable contributions are intangible, and when offered sincerely, they build goodwill, loyalty, and a reputation that elevates your influence and reach, allowing doors to open that would otherwise remain closed. Because people inherently want to engage with, invest in, and support those who demonstrate authentic care, commitment, and contribution. Developing generosity as a habit requires a shift in perspective, because it asks you to move from a mindset of scarcity, where you fear loss, competition, or inadequacy, toward a mindset of abundance, where you recognize that sharing knowledge, resources, or support does not diminish your own potential, but multiplies it, as the universe often returns generosity in unexpected and amplified ways, creating opportunities, relationships, and breakthroughs that could never be orchestrated through self-interest alone. Generosity also fosters strong, lasting relationships, because when people experience genuine, unselfish support, they respond with trust, loyalty, and collaboration, and this relational network becomes fertile ground for opportunities to arise naturally, whether in the form of mentorship, partnerships, introductions, or invitations to participate in projects, ventures, or endeavors that require collaboration, creativity, and mutual benefit. And it is through these authentic connections that some of life's most transformative opportunities emerge. In addition, generosity cultivates personal growth, because giving forces you to step outside of your comfort zone, consider the needs and perspectives of others, and develop empathy, patience, and emotional intelligence. And these qualities not only strengthen relationships, but also enhance your ability to recognize and act upon opportunities in ways that are ethical, sustainable, and mutually beneficial, ensuring that the doors that open are aligned with your long-term vision and values. Furthermore, generosity builds a powerful form of credibility and influence, because when you consistently add value without expecting immediate return, others perceive you as trustworthy, capable, and aligned with principles that matter, and this perception itself attracts further opportunities, as people naturally gravitate toward those whose presence elevates the collective outcome, inspires collaboration, and fosters innovation. And it is this kind of influence that often leads to invitations, partnerships, and access that cannot be bought or demanded, but are given freely in recognition of your character and contribution. Generosity is also intimately connected with gratitude, because those who give without attachment to outcome often cultivate a deeper appreciation for what they already have, recognizing that opportunity and abundance are not finite, but part of a larger cycle of exchange and contribution. And this mindset reinforces both personal satisfaction and the likelihood of attracting further opportunities, as a generous and grateful person radiates positivity, openness, and readiness to engage with new possibilities. Moreover, generosity encourages leadership, because leaders who demonstrate selflessness, mentorship, and support are more likely to inspire followership, collaboration, and trust, which in turn opens doors to higher-level opportunities, strategic roles, and impactful projects that require ethical guidance and the ability to bring out the best in others. And this form of leadership is both sustainable and magnetic, creating long-term influence that attracts opportunities aligned with your values and vision. Generosity also amplifies adaptability and courage, because when you give freely, you are willing to take risks on behalf of others, step into unfamiliar situations to provide support, and embrace challenges that expand your experience and capacity. And these qualities make you not only more capable of recognizing opportunities, but also more prepared to act decisively when they appear, reinforcing the cycle of growth, contribution, and reward. Ultimately, the habit of generosity is transformative, because it reshapes not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself, your capabilities, and your potential. And when practiced consistently, it becomes a silent but powerful force that attracts opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are meaningful, mutually beneficial, and aligned with your highest purpose, creating a life where giving and receiving coexist harmoniously, and the energy you put into uplifting others returns to you multiplied, ensuring that every door, chance, and connection you encounter is a reflection of the generosity you have cultivated within. And this continuous cycle of contribution, trust, and opportunity positions you to lead a life defined by impact, growth, and the magnetic attraction of possibilities that are both abundant and deeply fulfilling. Chapter 6: Curiosity is a habit that has the extraordinary power to attract opportunity, because it transforms the way we engage with the world, compelling us to explore, question, and seek understanding in ways that open doors that might otherwise remain invisible. And it is curiosity that drives individuals to notice patterns, identify gaps, and discover possibilities that others overlook. Because when you approach life with a genuine desire to learn, to understand, and to explore beyond the familiar, you are naturally positioning yourself to recognize opportunities that are hidden in plain sight. And this habit of inquiry signals to the world that you are not only engaged, but also capable of seeing what others cannot, making you a magnet for experiences, relationships, and possibilities that align with growth and innovation. Curiosity is not limited to intellectual pursuits. It extends to human behavior, social dynamics, and professional environments, because the more you observe, question, and reflect, the more you are able to understand the underlying principles, motivations, and structures that govern success, influence, and achievement. And this deepened understanding equips you to respond strategically, act decisively, and seize opportunities with clarity and confidence, ensuring that your actions are not reactive, but informed and intentional. Cultivating curiosity requires a mindset of openness and humility, because it involves acknowledging that you do not know everything, that there is always more to learn, and that every experience, challenge, and encounter can provide insight and perspective if approached with attentiveness and this willingness to remain teachable attracts mentors, collaborators, and advisors who are eager to share knowledge and resources with someone who is genuinely engaged and interested, creating a network of support and opportunity that grows exponentially over time. Curiosity also encourages experimentation and innovation, because those who are inquisitive are willing to test ideas, challenge assumptions, and explore new approaches without fear of failure, recognizing that mistakes are not setbacks, but valuable lessons that provide insight, improve strategy, and refine skills. And this iterative process helps individuals to identify solutions, create value, and capitalize on opportunities in ways that rigid thinking or conventional approaches cannot. Furthermore, curiosity fuels adaptability, because the habit of asking questions, seeking alternatives, and exploring possibilities allows you to respond flexibly to change, pivot when circumstances shift, and approach challenges with creative problem solving. And this ability to navigate uncertainty with insight and confidence is precisely what attracts opportunity, as those who are adaptable, observant, and innovative are often sought after for collaboration, leadership, and influence in dynamic environments. Curiosity also deepens relationships and expands networks, because when you show genuine interest in others, listen attentively, and ask thoughtful questions, you demonstrate empathy, engagement, and respect, which builds trust and connection. And these relational bonds frequently become channels through which opportunities, referrals, and collaborations flow naturally, because people are drawn to those who value understanding and seek to contribute meaningfully to mutual growth. In addition, curiosity enhances self-awareness, because by exploring your own thoughts, motivations, and behaviors with the same attentiveness you apply to external experiences, you gain clarity about your strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth, and this self-knowledge enables you to make better decisions, pursue opportunities aligned with your purpose, and avoid distractions that might derail your progress, creating a life path that is intentional, informed, and purpose-driven. The habit of curiosity also intersects with courage, because asking questions, challenging assumptions, and exploring new avenues often involves stepping into uncertainty, facing unfamiliar situations, and risking discomfort. And yet it is precisely this willingness to venture beyond the known that allows you to uncover opportunities that others avoid, ignore, or fail to see, creating a natural advantage in both personal and professional realms. Moreover, curiosity reinforces continuous learning and long-term growth, because those who approach life inquisitively never stop seeking knowledge, refining skills, or expanding their understanding, and this habit ensures that you remain relevant, adaptable, and prepared for the evolving demands and opportunities of the world, allowing doors to remain open and new ones to appear regularly as a reflection of your commitment to growth. Ultimately, curiosity is not merely a desire for knowledge, it is a dynamic, intentional habit that shapes your interactions, your mindset, and your ability to recognize and seize opportunity. Because when you are curious, you approach life as a continuous exploration, observing patterns, asking questions, testing ideas, learning from experiences, and connecting dots that others overlook. And this perpetual engagement with the world positions you to attract opportunities that are meaningful, timely, and aligned with your purpose, creating a life where doors open naturally, insights flow freely, and every encounter, experience, and challenge becomes a potential gateway to growth, success, and transformation. Because curiosity itself is a magnet that draws opportunity to those who are willing to look, listen, and learn beyond the obvious, turning the unknown into a landscape rich with possibility and potential. Chapter 7: Discipline is the foundational habit that transforms intention into action and action into tangible results, because no matter how aware, curious, or generous a person may be, without discipline, potential remains unrealized, ideas remain dormant, and opportunities slip by unnoticed, as discipline is the steady force that ensures consistency, follow through, and the reliable execution of plans, goals, and commitments. And it is this very quality that differentiates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Because while talent, luck, and knowledge can create temporary advantages, it is the disciplined individual who builds lasting success, develops mastery, and positions themselves to consistently attract and seize opportunities over time. Discipline is not a restriction or punishment. It is a form of self-empowerment, because it allows you to structure your energy, focus your efforts, and act with intention rather than reacting impulsively to circumstances, and it provides a framework within which all other habits, awareness, adaptability, generosity, curiosity, integrity, patience, courage, and gratitude, can function at their highest potential, because without a disciplined approach, even the most capable or well-intentioned individual will find their actions scattered, inconsistent, and ineffective, and opportunities will often pass by unrecognized or unexploited. Cultivating discipline begins with clarity of purpose, because knowing what you want, why you want it, and what it will take to achieve it creates a roadmap for action, allowing you to prioritize effectively, eliminate distractions, and focus relentlessly on what truly matters. And this clarity provides the motivation to maintain effort even when challenges, setbacks, or fatigue arise, because disciplined individuals understand that persistence in the face of difficulty is the gateway to growth, accomplishment, and meaningful opportunity. Discipline also involves the consistent practice of self-control, because it requires making deliberate choices that favor long-term benefits over short-term gratification, and it teaches you to manage your time, attention, and resources in ways that maximize impact, rather than succumbing to fleeting impulses, procrastination, or distraction. And this capacity for self-regulation strengthens both personal and professional growth, ensuring that you remain aligned with your goals while navigating the complex demands of daily life. Furthermore, discipline reinforces accountability, because when you commit to a course of action and follow through consistently, you build trust with yourself and with others, signaling reliability, integrity, and competence. And this trust attracts opportunities, partnerships, and responsibilities that are reserved for those who can be counted on to deliver, because in both personal and professional contexts, people gravitate toward those whose actions are predictable, dependable, and aligned with their commitments. Discipline is also intimately connected to mastery, because repeated, focused effort over time allows you to develop skills, knowledge, and expertise that are recognized and valued. And it is this mastery that draws attention, respect, and opportunity, because individuals who demonstrate competence and diligence naturally become magnets for advancement, mentorship, and collaboration, and their consistent performance ensures that doors open more frequently and with greater significance. Moreover, discipline intersects with patience, because the habit of sustained effort reinforces the understanding that success and opportunity are rarely instantaneous, and that meaningful outcomes require continuous work, learning, and refinement. And it is through this combination of discipline and patience that individuals can navigate setbacks, adapt to changing circumstances, and maintain momentum toward long-term goals, ensuring that they are prepared to recognize and capitalize on opportunities when they arise. Discipline also cultivates resilience, because the regular practice of structured effort strengthens mental fortitude, endurance, and the capacity to persevere through challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty. And this resilience, in turn, attracts opportunities that require reliability, focus, and sustained performance, because those who are disciplined demonstrate to the world that they are capable of handling responsibility, pressure, and complexity without faltering, and this perception naturally draws attention, trust, and collaboration. Additionally, discipline enhances focus and clarity of thought, because a structured approach allows you to minimize unnecessary distractions, concentrate on high-value activities, and maintain alignment with your priorities. And this heightened focus ensures that when opportunities arise, you are mentally prepared, strategically positioned, and capable of acting decisively, rather than being caught unready or unaligned. Ultimately, discipline is not merely about routine or repetition. It is about creating a framework of intentional, sustained action that enables growth, achievement, and the consistent attraction of opportunities, because disciplined individuals develop habits, structures, and behaviors that amplify their impact, strengthen their influence, and position them as reliable, capable, and ready participants in every situation where opportunity exists. And through the quiet, persistent power of discipline, one transforms potential into reality, dreams into tangible outcomes, and possibilities into the natural consequence of deliberate, focused, and unrelenting action, ensuring that a life built on this habit becomes a life rich with access, progress, and meaningful achievement in every area that matters. Chapter 8. Patience is a habit that is often underestimated in its power to attract opportunity, yet it is one of the most essential qualities for anyone seeking sustained growth, success, and meaningful achievement. Because while many people rush toward immediate results, react impulsively to challenges, or become frustrated when progress is slow, those who cultivate patience understand that life unfolds in its own rhythm, and that opportunities often require time, preparation, and the ability to wait strategically, observing the environment while maintaining focus on long-term goals. Because impulsive action without timing or foresight can result in missed chances, wasted energy, or decisions that fail to align with one's larger purpose, and the patient individual is able to navigate uncertainty with calm, deliberate action, recognizing that each delay or challenge is not a hindrance but a necessary part of the journey toward the right opportunity. Patience is not passivity, it is an active practice that combines observation, preparation, and consistent effort while resisting the urge to force results prematurely. Because life rewards those who are ready when the moment arrives, and those who cultivate patience are uniquely positioned to respond decisively, strategically, and effectively when the right opportunity presents itself, while those who lack this habit may act out of fear, urgency, or frustration, often undermining their own potential and jeopardizing the outcomes they seek. Developing patience requires a deep sense of self-awareness, because it involves recognizing triggers, understanding the difference between productive action and impulsive reaction, and maintaining a clear perspective on goals and priorities, because the ability to delay gratification, tolerate uncertainty, and wait for optimal timing is strengthened when you have a clear understanding of what truly matters, what is within your control, and what requires us in the actual flow of events. And this perspective prevents wasted energy on distractions, impatience, or actions that do not serve your larger purpose. Patience also reinforces resilience, because enduring periods of waiting, uncertainty, or slow progress strengthens mental fortitude, emotional regulation, and the capacity to persevere despite setbacks. And this resilience itself becomes attractive to opportunity, as people, organizations, and circumstances naturally favor individuals who demonstrate composure, reliability, and the ability to persist under challenging conditions, because opportunity rarely flows to those who panic, complain, or abandon their course at the first sign of difficulty. Furthermore, patience complements discipline, because the habit of sustained, focused effort over time requires the understanding that results are cumulative, and that each step, no matter how small, contributes to long-term success, and it is the combination of disciplined action and patient observation that ensures progress is steady, deliberate, and aligned with your objectives, allowing you to position yourself strategically for opportunities that are both timely and impactful. Patience is also closely tied to wisdom, because those who are willing to wait, observe, and reflect before acting gain a deeper understanding of context, consequences, and potential outcomes, and this foresight allows them to make decisions that maximize benefit while minimizing risk, ensuring that the opportunities they pursue are not only immediate, but also sustainable, meaningful, and aligned with their long-term vision. Because wisdom without patience often leads to hasty choices, and patience without wisdom can result in passivity. Together, they create a powerful combination that attracts success. Moreover, patience strengthens relationships and networks, because people naturally respond to those who are composed, understanding, and reliable, and the ability to wait, listen, and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively fosters trust, loyalty, and collaboration, which in turn opens channels of opportunity through mentorship, partnership, and mutual support. As individuals who demonstrate patience are often viewed as dependable, insightful, and capable of handling responsibility in ways that inspire confidence and respect. Patience also nurtures emotional intelligence, because it requires regulating impulses, tolerating frustration, and maintaining perspective, and this capacity allows you to navigate social, professional, and personal interactions with grace, clarity, and strategic insight, which attracts opportunities that require not only competence but also the ability to maintain composure, influence outcomes, and create positive and lasting impressions. And it is this combination of calmness, foresight, and deliberate action that positions the patient individual to seize opportunities others might miss due to haste, impulsivity, or lack of focus. Ultimately, patience is not simply waiting, it is the art of remaining engaged, focused, and proactive while allowing circumstances to unfold in alignment with timing, preparation, and readiness. And it is this strategic patience that ensures every action is purposeful, every decision is informed, and every opportunity is recognized and pursued at the most effective moment, because the patient individual develops the foresight, resilience, and composure required to navigate life's complexities with confidence, attracting opportunities naturally, consistently, and sustainably, and creating a life in which timing, effort, and readiness converge to produce results, growth, and success in ways that are both profound and enduring. Chapter 9: Courage is the habit that transforms intention into action in ways that no other quality can replicate. Because opportunities rarely present themselves in perfect conditions, and those who wait for safety, certainty, or complete preparation often miss the very moments that could change the course of their lives. And courage is the internal force that allows you to step forward despite fear, doubt, or uncertainty, taking calculated risks, embracing challenges, and confronting the unknown with confidence, because it is in these moments of discomfort and risk that growth occurs, and it is precisely this willingness to act where others hesitate that attracts opportunity. For people, circumstances, and resources naturally align with those who demonstrate bravery, initiative, and a readiness to face difficulty in pursuit of meaningful goals. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the deliberate decision to move forward despite it, because fear is a natural and necessary signal that helps identify risks. Yet courage enables you to navigate those risks strategically rather than being paralyzed by them, and this discernment ensures that your actions are bold, purposeful, and aligned with your long-term vision rather than reckless or impulsive. And it is this combination of bravery and wisdom that makes courage such a powerful magnet for opportunity, because others recognize, respect, and are drawn to those who can act decisively under pressure and uncertainty. Developing courage begins with self-awareness and honesty, because you must understand your fears, identify where you hesitate, and recognize the internal and external barriers that prevent action. And by confronting these truths with openness and determination, you strengthen your capacity to respond proactively rather than reactively, creating a mindset in which challenges become invitations and risks become gateways. And this internal fortitude positions you to pursue opportunities that others avoid, overlook, or deem too risky, giving you a natural advantage in both personal and professional domains. Courage is closely linked with resilience, because taking action in the face of fear inevitably involves encountering setbacks, failures, and criticism, and it is through repeated engagement with these challenges that resilience is built, reinforcing the habit of courage and making you increasingly capable of handling adversity, maintaining focus, and sustaining effort toward your goals. And this cycle of courage and resilience attracts opportunities, as those who persevere and adapt despite difficulty are seen as reliable, capable, and ready to take on responsibility, leadership. Furthermore, courage encourages innovation and creativity, because bold action often involves exploring uncharted territory, questioning conventional wisdom, and challenging the status quo. And those who are willing to venture into uncertainty are more likely to identify unique solutions, discover new approaches, and create value that others cannot. And this capacity to innovate under pressure draws attention, partnerships, and opportunities that are unavailable to those who rely solely on safety, routine, or conformity. Courage also strengthens relationships and influence, because people are naturally drawn to those who demonstrate bravery, initiative, and integrity, recognizing that such individuals are capable of making tough decisions, taking responsibility, and inspiring action. And in professional, social, and personal contexts, this perception builds trust, respect, and alignment, creating networks of support, mentorship, and collaboration that further increase access to opportunities, because those around you are more likely to invest in, collaborate with, and empower individuals who act with confidence and decisiveness. Additionally, courage is intertwined with personal growth, because each act of bravery expands your capacity, knowledge, and self-belief, reinforcing the habit and making subsequent actions easier, more confident, and more impactful. And this compounding effect ensures that your ability to recognize, pursue, and capitalize on opportunities increases over time, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of action, growth, and reward. Courage also enhances decision-making, because those who are willing to take calculated risks develop the experience, judgment, and insight necessary to act decisively in complex situations, and this capability allows them to identify and seize opportunities quickly, often before others have the confidence, clarity, or fortitude to act, creating a strategic advantage that compounds with each successive challenge, achievement, and risk taken. Ultimately, courage is not merely about heroic acts or dramatic gestures. It is the consistent practice of moving forward with integrity, clarity, and determination in the face of fear, uncertainty, and challenge. And it is this habitual bravery that positions you to attract opportunities naturally, because the world responds to those who demonstrate readiness, decisiveness, and the willingness to act when it matters most, creating a life in which doors open, risks convert into rewards, and each courageous step expands your horizon, amplifies your influence, and strengthens your capacity to recognize and seize opportunities that define growth, achievement, and lasting success in every domain of life. Because courage transforms the unknown into possibility and positions you as a magnet for the outcomes you seek. Chapter 10: Gratitude, habit that possesses the remarkable power to attract opportunity, because it fundamentally changes the way you perceive the world, yourself, and the circumstances around you, transforming ordinary experiences into sources of insight, connection, and growth. And when cultivated consistently, it creates a positive feedback loop that draws people, situations, and resources toward you naturally, because human beings are instinctively attracted to those who radiate appreciation, humility, and acknowledgement, and this energy signals alignment, generosity, and openness, all of which are essential for recognizing and seizing opportunities, as gratitude does not simply reflect thankfulness for what exists. It amplifies your capacity to notice what is possible, to see potential where others see limitation, and to engage with the world in ways that invite collaboration, support, and advancement. Gratitude is more than polite acknowledgement or superficial thanks. It is an intentional, reflective habit that requires noticing the contributions, circumstances, and lessons in every interaction, experience, and challenge, because the practice of identifying value and significance in each moment trains your mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, opportunity rather than limitation, and possibility rather than fear. And this perspective shift has profound consequences for your ability to attract, create, and recognize opportunities that might otherwise remain hidden or unappreciated. Developing gratitude begins with self-awareness and mindfulness, because you cannot authentically acknowledge what you do not perceive or understand, and the habit of reflecting on daily experiences, challenges overcome, relationships nurtured, and personal growth achieved strengthens your capacity to recognize the interconnectedness of events and the contributions of others, which naturally increases your appreciation for both what you have and what is available to you. And this expanded awareness enhances your ability to act strategically and attractively in ways that generate opportunity. Gratitude also reinforces humility, because it reminds you that success, progress, and achievement are rarely the result of solitary effort, and recognizing the support, mentorship, guidance, and contributions of others positions you as someone who is approachable, trustworthy, and collaborative, and this reputation amplifies your access to networks, partnerships, and invitations that lead to meaningful opportunities, as people are naturally drawn to those who honor the value of collaboration and the contributions of others. In addition, gratitude enhances resilience, because focusing on the positive aspects of experiences, even in the face of setbacks, teaches you to reframe challenges, extract lessons, and maintain a constructive perspective, and this resilience strengthens your capacity to navigate uncertainty, adapt to change, and remain consistent in pursuing long-term goals, which in turn attracts opportunities that require reliability, insight, and a positive approach to problem solving. Gratitude is also closely linked with emotional intelligence, because recognizing and appreciating the efforts, perspectives, and intentions of others fosters empathy, strengthens relationships, and improves communication. And these social benefits create an environment where collaboration, mentorship, and mutual support thrive, further increasing the likelihood that opportunities will present themselves naturally, because people prefer to engage with individuals who are genuinely appreciative, respectful, and attentive to their contributions and potential. Furthermore, gratitude encourages a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity, because it shifts focus away from what is lacking toward what is present, available, and achievable, and this perspective reduces anxiety, envy, and competition, replacing them with optimism, creativity, and proactive engagement, all of which attract opportunities. Because those who operate from abundance recognize potential, seize possibilities, and inspire confidence in others. Gratitude also amplifies the impact of other habits, because when paired with awareness, adaptability, generosity, curiosity, integrity, discipline, patience, and courage, it magnifies your capacity to act, influence, and create value, as gratitude fuels motivation, enhances perspective, and strengthens relational and emotional connections, all of which are essential to the recognition and pursuit of opportunities. Moreover, gratitude fosters self-confidence and clarity of purpose, because reflecting on your achievements, support received, and personal growth reinforces belief in your abilities, motivates continued effort, and clarifies priorities, and this self-assurance positions you to act decisively when opportunities appear, increasing both your readiness and effectiveness. Ultimately, the habit of gratitude is transformative because it shapes perception, behavior, and relationships in ways that create a fertile ground for opportunity, turning everyday experiences into learning, connection, and growth. And cultivating gratitude consistently ensures that you remain open, receptive, and magnetic to possibilities, because when you operate from appreciation, abundance, and acknowledgement, the world responds in kind, offering chances, resources, and partnerships that align with your purpose, values, and vision, and this alignment allows you to attract, recognize, and seize opportunities in a manner that is sustainable, meaningful, and profoundly impactful, creating a life in which doors open naturally, relationships flourish, and success emerges not only from effort, but from the habitual practice of valuing, noticing, and honoring all that exists, all that is possible, and all that contributes to your growth, because gratitude is the lens through which opportunity is seen, cultivated, and ultimately realized. Chapter 11. Observation is a habit that holds immense power in attracting opportunity because it allows you to perceive patterns, nuances, and dynamics that are invisible to those who act without awareness. And it is through careful, deliberate observation that you begin to understand the subtleties of human behavior, the timing of events, and the alignment of circumstances that create openings for success, growth, and meaningful engagement. Because opportunities rarely announce themselves with clarity, they are often hidden in plain sight, embedded in the details of interactions, trends, or environments, and the individual who practices observation consistently develops a heightened sensitivity to these signals, enabling proactive response and strategic positioning that others miss. Observation is not merely passive seeing, it is active attentiveness. The practice of noticing, analyzing, and interpreting what is happening around you, because those who cultivate this skill understand that insight comes not from assumptions, superficial impressions, or impulsive reactions, but from careful attention, reflection, and comprehension. And this deliberate awareness allows you to recognize opportunities that are contextually aligned with your goals, capabilities, and values, creating a natural advantage in both personal and professional settings. Developing observation as a habit requires mindfulness, because the ability to see clearly demands the presence of mind to fully engage with the moment, to pay attention to details, and to resist the distractions, biases, and preconceptions that obscure reality. And by practicing mindfulness consistently, you strengthen your capacity to interpret signals accurately, understand dynamics deeply, and anticipate possibilities with foresight, positioning yourself to act with clarity, precision, and confidence. Observation also fosters critical thinking, because the act of noticing patterns, discrepancies, and nuances requires interpretation, evaluation, and synthesis of information, and this mental discipline enhances decision-making, problem-solving, and strategy, because those who observe effectively are able to draw connections, predict outcomes, and identify opportunities that others may overlook, creating a competitive and strategic advantage that compounds over time. As the more skilled you become at observation, the more effectively you can position yourself in environments rich with potential. Furthermore, observation strengthens relationships, because by attentively listening, noticing non-verbal cues, and understanding the perspectives, needs, and motivations of others, you build empathy, trust, and influence, and these relational benefits increase access to opportunities, as people naturally gravitate toward those who are perceptive, considerate, and aware of both explicit and implicit dynamics, because observation allows you to act in ways that are timely, appropriate, and valuable, fostering connections that lead to collaboration, mentorship, and support. Observation also enhances adaptability and problem-solving, because those who notice subtleties are better able to anticipate challenges, identify trends, and respond proactively to shifting circumstances, and this heightened situational awareness enables you to pivot, adjust strategy, and seize emerging opportunities with confidence, ensuring that your actions are aligned with evolving contexts and that potential setbacks are addressed before they escalate, which in turn reinforces your reliability, foresight, and influence. Moreover, observation cultivates patience and discernment, because recognizing the right moment, the right person, or the optimal opportunity requires the ability to wait, watch, and evaluate before taking action. And this combination of attentiveness and timing is critical to ensuring that decisions and actions produce maximum impact, attracting opportunities that are not only visible but meaningful, sustainable, and aligned with your purpose. Observation also interacts with other key habits, amplifying their effect, because when combined with awareness, curiosity, adaptability, discipline, patience, courage, and gratitude, it allows you to act with informed precision, anticipate needs, and align effort with context, ensuring that your actions resonate with both the environment and the people involved, and that opportunities you pursue are recognized, validated, and supported by external forces. Ultimately, the habit of observation is transformative because it equips you with the ability to see beyond the surface, interpret the subtleties of situations, and respond intelligently to circumstances that are fluid, complex, and nuanced. And by making observation a consistent practice, you cultivate an internal radar that identifies openings, patterns, and relationships that others miss, allowing you to recognize, attract, and leverage opportunities with clarity, strategic insight, and effectiveness, creating a life in which potential is consistently recognized, engagement is deliberate, and actions are informed, because those who observe keenly are able to act decisively, position themselves advantageously, and access opportunities that are not available to those who operate without attentiveness, reflection, and situational awareness, ensuring a trajectory of growth, success, and meaningful achievement that is both deliberate and sustainable. Chapter 12: Networking is a habit that significantly attracts opportunity because it creates bridges between individuals, ideas, and resources that would otherwise remain isolated. And it is through meaningful connections, intentional engagement, and the consistent cultivation of relationships that doors open, collaborations emerge, and opportunities that are inaccessible through individual effort alone become attainable, because success in almost every domain is not achieved in isolation, and those who prioritize and master the art of networking position themselves at the intersection of influence, information, and resources, where possibilities multiply, partnerships flourish, and avenues for growth and advancement continuously present themselves. Networking is not merely about exchanging business cards, collecting contacts, or attending events. It is an active and deliberate practice of building authentic relationships, offering value, listening attentively, and understanding the needs, goals, and aspirations of others, because people are naturally drawn to individuals who demonstrate genuine interest, trustworthiness, and the willingness to support mutual success, and this authenticity fosters credibility, respect, and loyalty, all of which are essential for attracting opportunities that are meaningful, sustainable, and mutually beneficial. Developing networking as a habit requires a mindset of generosity and curiosity, because the most effective networks are not built on self-interest alone, but on the consistent practice of giving, sharing knowledge, offering assistance, and showing appreciation, because when you invest in others without expecting immediate returns, you cultivate goodwill, influence, and trust that often translate into invitations, recommendations, collaborations, and opportunities that extend far beyond the initial interaction. Networking also strengthens awareness, observation, and communication skills because it involves paying attention to dynamics, understanding contexts, and adapting interactions to different personalities, environments, and objectives. And these skills enhance your ability to identify opportunities, assess potential collaborations, and position yourself strategically, ensuring that the connections you make are meaningful, relevant, and aligned with your long-term goals, and that the relationships you nurture become channels through which growth, resources, and opportunities naturally flow. Furthermore, networking enhances resilience and adaptability, because as you engage with a diverse array of individuals, ideas, and perspectives, you are exposed to challenges, differing viewpoints, and complex situations that broaden your understanding, encourage flexibility, and strengthen your capacity to respond effectively to change. And this expanded perspective increases your ability to identify and capitalize on emerging opportunities, because you can see patterns, gaps, and potential collaborations that others may overlook due to limited exposure or narrow focus. Networking is also closely tied to trust and integrity, because consistent, reliable, and authentic engagement fosters a reputation for dependability and credibility, and people are more likely to include you in important decisions, projects, and opportunities when they know that you act with honesty, fairness, and consistency, and this reputation becomes a magnet for opportunities that require responsibility, leadership, and collaboration, because others perceive you as someone who adds value, respects relationships, and contributes meaningfully to shared goals. Additionally, networking enhances personal growth and self-confidence, because each interaction provides learning, feedback, and exposure to new ideas, perspectives, and experiences, and as your network expands, so does your ability to influence, negotiate, and navigate complex social and professional landscapes, which in turn increases your capacity to recognize and seize opportunities as they arise, because you are better equipped to assess timing, relevance, and strategic alignment in a wide range of contexts. Networking also intersects with strategic thinking and opportunity recognition, because the more connections you cultivate, the more access you have to insights, trends, and possibilities that others may not perceive. And this access provides an information advantage that allows you to act decisively, position yourself effectively, and leverage relationships for mutual gain, creating a continuous cycle of opportunity, growth, and influence that compounds over time. Ultimately, networking is not simply about meeting people. It is the consistent practice of building, nurturing, and leveraging authentic relationships in a way that benefits both yourself and others. Because when approached with intention, generosity, and authenticity, networking becomes a dynamic force that attracts opportunities, resources, collaborations, and insights, creating a life in which connections serve as catalysts for achievement, growth, and meaningful impact. Because those who cultivate the habit of networking consistently position themselves at the crossroads of influence, information, and possibility, ensuring that doors open naturally, relationships thrive, and opportunities align with their purpose, vision, and long-term goals, creating a life with potential, collaboration, and sustained success, where every interaction is both a learning experience and a pathway to new horizons. Chapter 13: Adaptability is a habit that significantly attracts opportunity because it enables individuals to respond effectively to changing circumstances, challenges, and environments, and it is the ability to pivot, adjust strategies, and embrace uncertainty with confidence that positions a person to recognize and capitalize on possibilities that others may overlook, hesitate to pursue, or fail to navigate successfully, because the world is dynamic, complex, and unpredictable, and those who remain rigid, resistant, or inflexible often miss the openings that arise from shifts, transitions, and unexpected developments, whereas adaptable individuals are able to identify patterns, anticipate trends, and respond proactively, turning potential disruptions into platforms for growth, advancement, and meaningful achievement. And this capacity for agile response signals resilience, competence, and strategic foresight, qualities that naturally attract opportunities across all domains of life. Adaptability is not simply the ability to tolerate change. It is an active, deliberate practice of assessing situations, re-evaluating assumptions, and modifying actions while maintaining alignment with long-term goals, because it requires both self-awareness and situational awareness to navigate the balance between consistency in purpose and flexibility in approach. And this balance ensures that adjustments are intentional, informed, and effective rather than reactive or aimless, which maximizes both immediate and future opportunities. Cultivating adaptability as a habit involves embracing a mindset of curiosity, learning, and continuous growth, because those who remain open to new ideas, perspectives, and experiences are better equipped to interpret evolving circumstances, integrate new information, and respond creatively to challenges. And this mindset reduces fear, resistance, and hesitation, allowing you to act decisively, innovate solutions, and position yourself strategically for opportunities that require flexibility, insight, and initiative. Adaptability also strengthens resilience because navigating uncertainty, setbacks, and transitions requires emotional regulation, persistence, and problem-solving skills, and individuals who practice adaptability are more likely to remain composed under pressure, recover quickly from obstacles, and maintain momentum toward their objectives. And this combination of flexibility and fortitude signals to others that you are capable, reliable, and prepared to handle responsibility, leadership, and collaboration, which attracts opportunities that demand these very qualities. Furthermore, adaptability enhances learning and skill acquisition because it encourages you to experiment, explore, and refine approaches in response to feedback, new information, and shifting contexts. And this iterative process allows you to continuously improve performance, identify emerging possibilities, and recognize opportunities that align with evolving circumstances, competencies, and goals. And it positions you as a resourceful, innovative, and proactive individual in both personal and professional settings. Adaptability also fosters stronger relationships and collaboration because individuals who can adjust to different personalities, expectations, and environments demonstrate empathy, communication skills, and social intelligence, and these qualities naturally attract partnerships, mentorships, and alliances that expand access to opportunities, resources, and influence because others are more likely to engage with, support, and collaborate with someone who can navigate complexity with ease, maintain harmony in diverse contexts, and find solutions that benefit all parties involved. Moreover, adaptability encourages strategic foresight because the habit of continuously evaluating circumstances, anticipating trends, and adjusting plans allows you to act in ways that are proactive rather than reactive, enabling you to seize opportunities at the optimal moment, mitigate risks, and leverage changes for advantage, which in turn reinforces your reputation as a capable, visionary, and solution-oriented individual, attracting further possibilities for growth, leadership, and impact. Adaptability also interacts with other essential habits such as curiosity, observation, discipline, patience, courage, and resilience, because the ability to respond effectively to change amplifies the benefits of learning, reflection, and deliberate action, creating a compound effect that positions you for success and opportunity across multiple domains, and it ensures that challenges become stepping stones rather than obstacles, transitions become gateways rather than interruptions, and uncertainty becomes a source of insight rather than a deterrent. Ultimately, the habit of adaptability is transformative because it equips you with the flexibility, awareness, and capability to navigate life's inevitable changes, while simultaneously strengthening your ability to recognize, attract, and act upon opportunities that require agility, insight, and innovation. And by embedding adaptability into your daily practice, you create a life in which change becomes a catalyst for progress, challenges become opportunities for growth, and every shift, transition, or unexpected development is viewed as a chance to learn, contribute, and advance, ensuring that you remain prepared, positioned, and proactive in a dynamic world, attracting circumstances, relationships, and possibilities that align with your purpose, values, and vision, and creating a trajectory of sustained success, influence, and meaningful achievement that is both resilient and adaptable to whatever the future may hold. Chapter 14: Consistency is the habit that ultimately cements progress, builds credibility, and attracts opportunity because it transforms sporadic effort into tangible results, demonstrates reliability to others, and reinforces the trust, influence, and reputation necessary for sustained success. and it is through the deliberate practice of consistent action, thought, and behavior that individuals establish themselves as dependable, competent, and prepared for opportunity, because while talent, knowledge, and insight are valuable, they often remain underutilized without the ongoing reinforcement of deliberate, repeated action. And it is the person who consistently applies effort, follows through on commitments, and maintains alignment with goals who positions themselves to be recognized, valued, and approached with offers, invitations, and responsibilities that lead to growth, advancement, and meaningful achievement. Consistency is not simply repeating the same action mechanically, it is the alignment of effort with purpose, the disciplined application of focus toward objectives, and the maintenance of standards over time, because this intentional repetition builds mastery, reinforces credibility, and signals to others that you are someone who can be counted on, relied upon, and trusted in both minor and significant matters. And this trust is one of the most attractive qualities to mentors, collaborators, leaders, and decision-makers, as it demonstrates that results are not accidental, but the outcome of deliberate, persistent effort, which makes consistent individuals magnets for opportunities that require competence, reliability, and sustained performance. Developing consistency as a habit requires discipline and self-awareness, because it involves recognizing patterns, establishing routines, and committing to actions even when motivation fluctuates, circumstances are challenging, or progress seems slow. And it is through this steadfast dedication that momentum builds, incremental gains accumulate, and long-term outcomes materialize, because small, repeated actions compound over time to produce significant, visible, and impactful results. And those who maintain consistency are often the first to benefit when opportunities emerge, because their persistent effort ensures readiness, skill, and credibility at the moment when timing aligns with possibility. Consistency also reinforces resilience, because the practice of maintaining effort, focus, and integrity despite obstacles, setbacks, or periods of low motivation strengthens mental fortitude, patience, and adaptability. And this resilience attracts opportunities that require reliability, persistence, and strategic follow-through, because individuals who can maintain progress under challenging conditions demonstrate their capacity to handle responsibility, make informed decisions, and navigate complex situations without faltering, which naturally draws attention, trust, and collaboration from those who value competence and stability. Furthermore, consistency amplifies other key habits such as discipline, patience, courage, adaptability, observation, and gratitude, because the regular practice of these qualities over time magnifies their effects, creating a cumulative advantage that positions you as someone capable of delivering results, contributing value, and seizing opportunities in ways that are recognized, rewarded, and sought after, because those who are consistent are not only prepared, but also perceived as dependable, capable, and strategically positioned for influence, advancement, and growth. Consistency is also closely tied to credibility, because actions speak louder than intentions, promises, or plans, and the individual who consistently demonstrates reliability, follow-through, and alignment between words and actions builds trust with colleagues, mentors, clients, and peers, and this trust becomes a pathway to opportunities, because people naturally gravitate toward, invest in, and collaborate with those who can be counted on to deliver, produce, and perform with predictability, integrity, and quality. And this reputation often precedes the individual, opening doors before effort or initiative is even required. Additionally, consistency fosters personal mastery and competence, because the repeated practice of skills, processes, and behaviors allows for refinement, growth, and the accumulation of knowledge that elevates performance, distinguishes you from others, and enhances your value to organizations, communities, and networks. And it is this mastery that attracts opportunities that are meaningful, impactful, and aligned with long-term objectives, because those who are consistent are not merely participants, They are reliable contributors, leaders, and innovators whose sustained effort ensures relevance, effectiveness, and influence in every environment they engage with. Ultimately, the habit of consistency is transformative because it creates a foundation upon which all other habits, skills, and qualities can flourish, producing momentum, credibility, and recognition that attract opportunity naturally, because the individual who demonstrates reliable effort, disciplined focus, and purposeful action over time is uniquely positioned to recognize openings, leverage relationships, and seize possibilities that others may overlook, delay, or fail to act upon, ensuring that life becomes a series of compounding advantages, where doors open predictably, growth is continuous, and success is not accidental, but the inevitable result of steadfast dedication, alignment, and the habitual practice of showing up, acting with integrity, and persisting until goals are realized, creating a trajectory of achievement, influence, and meaningful opportunity that endures across time and circumstance. Chapter 15 Vision is the habit that ultimately attracts opportunity because it provides direction, clarity, and purpose, and it enables individuals to see beyond the immediate circumstances to the possibilities, goals, and outcomes that lie ahead, because those who cultivate vision consistently are able to anticipate trends, identify gaps, and position themselves strategically in ways that align with long-term objectives. And this forward-looking perspective naturally draws opportunities, resources, and collaborators who are aligned with their purpose, because clarity of vision signals determination, focus, and readiness to act decisively when the right moments arise. And people are drawn to individuals who demonstrate awareness, purpose, and the ability to translate ideas into action, recognizing that those with vision are more likely to create meaningful impact, contribute value, and achieve success in ways that others cannot easily replicate. Vision is not merely imagining a desirable future, it is the intentional and disciplined practice of defining goals, creating actionable strategies, and aligning daily actions with long-term objectives, because opportunities rarely manifest without preparation, and those who see clearly where they want to go and what is required to reach their destination are positioned to recognize, evaluate, and seize the openings that arise, while those who lack clarity may drift, react, or miss critical chances, because vision transforms uncertainty into purpose-driven action and aligns effort with outcomes, ensuring that each step contributes to a trajectory of growth, progress, and meaningful achievement. Developing vision as a habit requires introspection, clarity of values, and a deep understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, and aspirations, because insight into yourself and the environment allows you to create a roadmap that is both realistic and ambitious, and this clarity ensures that your actions are intentional, focused, and resilient against distractions, setbacks, or competing priorities, because vision provides a lens through which to evaluate opportunities, assess risks, and determine alignment with ultimate objectives, ensuring that effort is applied to endeavors that matter and that the results achieved are both impactful and sustainable. Vision also enhances decision-making, because when you have a clear understanding of your desired outcomes and long-term goals, every choice becomes an opportunity to move closer to your objectives or to learn valuable lessons that inform future action. And this perspective ensures that risks are calculated, resources are allocated wisely, and actions are deliberate, which increases your ability and capitalize on opportunities that others may overlook due to lack of clarity or purpose. Furthermore, vision cultivates resilience and perseverance, because individuals who maintain a clear view of the destination are able to navigate challenges, setbacks, and obstacles with patience, focus, and determination, understanding that temporary difficulties are part of the journey rather than indicators of failure, and this persistence strengthens their ability to attract opportunities, because those who remain steadfast in pursuit of their vision demonstrate reliability, focus, and capacity, making them natural magnets for mentorship, partnerships, and collaborations that further amplify progress. Vision also inspires influence and leadership, because those who articulate their vision with clarity, passion, and authenticity motivate others to contribute, support, and align their efforts toward common objectives. And this alignment not only creates synergy and collective impact, but also expands the network of individuals, resources, and opportunities accessible to the visionary, because people are drawn to purposeful action and tangible direction, recognizing that clear vision often correlates with effective execution, innovation, and meaningful outcomes. Additionally, vision is integrally connected to creativity and innovation, because imagining possibilities beyond the present circumstances encourages the generation of ideas, strategies, and solutions that others may overlook, and this capacity to anticipate, innovate, and envision alternatives positions you to seize opportunities that require foresight, strategic insight, and originality, ensuring that your contributions stand out, create value, and attract attention in both professional and personal domains. Vision also interacts with other essential habits such as discipline, adaptability, patience, observation, courage, and gratitude, because the clarity and focus provided by vision magnify the effectiveness of all these practices, ensuring that effort is directed toward meaningful results. Learning is intentional, and actions align with the larger trajectory of purpose and impact, because vision acts as a compass that unites intention, action, and opportunity into a cohesive framework that guides both daily behavior and long-term strategy. Ultimately, vision is not simply the ability to imagine the future, it is the disciplined, consistent, and intentional practice of creating clarity, aligning actions, and maintaining focus on outcomes that matter. And by embedding vision into your daily habits, you attract opportunities, partnerships, and experiences that resonate with your purpose, values, and long-term goals, creating a life in which every decision, effort, and interaction is informed, strategic, and impactful, and ensuring that the opportunities that arise are recognized, seized, and transformed into meaningful success, because vision transforms potential into reality, uncertainty into strategy, and ambition into tangible achievement, creating a trajectory of growth, influence, and lasting accomplishment that defines a life lived with clarity, purpose, and consistent direction.